morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, you know what it's time for? It's the rant. We're going to rant and rant and rant and rant for the next hour about practice makes professional. Hello. And welcome to the show. My name is Jade. As you know, this is How to App on iOS. If you're watching this for the first time, boo! Aha, did I scare you? See, it works every time. That's a professional YouTuber right there. Fucking, it doesn't get more professional than that, does it? Hey, I hope you're all doing good. It's the rant. It's the rant, which I love doing on a Monday morning here, Sunday for you and the rest of the world, because you guys are way behind. Catch up. What are you doing? Catch up. One day you'll eventually catch up with the rest of us here in Australia and New Zealand. But for now, we'll just forgive you. All right? Is everybody having a good weekend? You all good? Let's say hello to you all in the chat before we get in and have a bit of a rant about practice. Yes? What is practice? What is it exactly? I don't know what it is. Audible Video, Ali, NB Metal, Tom's Christ. We've got, who else? Pookie. Oh, Pookie. The Mix Club's here as well. And who else is here? Hugh Caldwell, what's going on? I saw a Glenn in the house. Where's the Glenn? Let me find the Glenn. Adam Burst, what's going on, Adam? Good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. The Tremor Bear is in the house. Hello, Tremor Bear. I saw a Glenn. There's a Glenn. There's a Joe Glenn spotted in the wild, milling about with a flute in hand. I don't even know why I did that. All right, where are we up to? It's going to be one of those shows, isn't it? It's always like this. Lady Campion. Hello, Lady Campion. Hope you're doing well, my dear. Who else do we see in the chatteroo? Good old chatteroo. That's the new word for it. Barry Glenn's there. Barry Glenn is here as well. We got the whole gang. I'm missing heaps of stuff here. Hang on, let me do some scrolling. This is not very professional, isn't it? 2-hour nap in my chair and my neck is wacky. Yes. Rhett's got a wacky neck, everybody. Yes, thank you, Thomas, for reminding me. Welcome to our Ward Warriors. You can become a Ward Warrior by doing this. Or doing that thing that Thomas posted there. It's $1, and things happen when you pay $1 a month. And it's very kind. It makes me smile and all that kind of stuff. Today's featured artist, before we get into it, is a beautiful artist who I just always play probably once every couple of weeks, Naya Medved, because she's amazing. We should make a Pookie musical. I agree. Well, let's do that. We'll call it the birthday suit. It's a magical suit that is worn every day and never gets washed. Leela, hello, Leela. I hope you did what we set up. I hope you made contact. I've organised Leela to meet up with an alien race, and she'll be hooking up with them sometime this week. That's what I do for people. I set them up with alien races. I don't know what the hell. Mark, bro, good to see you. And immediately after today's show is Pete Johns, who's doing a YML. We've got a great week coming up, my friends. We've got something really special. I'll mention it now before we get into it, because it's the start of the week. Yeah, or the birthday suite. Oh. The birthday suit, yes. Look, let's get on it. Talking about plays, theatre productions. Are you ready for something interesting this week on this channel? I don't like, if you've been a follower of this channel for a long time, you'll know that I get a little bit bored with things, and I like to mix things up. And last week we had an interview with the Mix Club. And speaking of mixing things up, there's the Mix Club. He's in the chat. I like to mix things up. So this week there will be no interview here on the channel. I know it's sad. It's sad, but it will be back the week after with a very, very, very special guest. But instead we're going to do something which ties into today's show. Yeah, same as yesterday's opening hour ties in. But let's cover what's going on. Oh, no. Let's cover what's going on just for the rest of this week, because we've got some great apps to look at this week. Oops, I'm going backwards. I know it looks like I'm wanking, but I'm not. Good God. Cover your ears and eyes, Lady Campion. Quick. Tomorrow on the show, we're taking a look at this amazing app called Stellar Vox. Now, if you got to see yesterday's show, let me bring myself back up here. What's going on? Hey, there I am. Yesterday's show, I did an improvisational performance of a bunch of my original songs, and I had this amazing reverb space designer sound on my guitar. And guess what, guys? This is where it came from, this app. And we're going to take a look at this tomorrow, and it's going to blow your mind. It is up there. It's on my list already. It's on a list of my favorite apps this year. Anything that Igor Vasiliev releases is an instant classic in my opinion, and I just love his apps. And this one is no different, so you're not going to want to miss this tomorrow. It is absolutely beautiful, or as Gordon Ramsay would say,
stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Exactly.
Stunning.
Right. Thanks, Gordon. So the day after that, we're taking a look at this. Another app, and look what the title is. It's not clickbait at all. You need this vocal app. I don't think I need to say anything else. This thing is going to change how I record vocals on a level that is boom. We're going to be taking a look at this this week as well on the show. And we've got a little app blast from the past. 2 apps this week, or just yesterday or the day before, got a massive update, and they worked together, these 2 apps. This is Riffler and Riffler Flow. Now have this new update called Duet, where you can make them accompany each other. Wow, really cool. So we'll be taking a look at this. And let me tell you a little bit about what's replacing the interview this week. So it does tie in, so bear with me, because it ties into today's show about practice and professionalism, all right? So back many years ago, I was a performing artist who, played a lot of gigs and such, and even delved into theatre. Hard to believe that I would be involved in theatre, isn't it? I know. Oh, the shame. But no, I was incredibly involved in theatre all my life. I was what you would call a theatre kid. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But for a period of time, I had a show that was touring, and it toured around Australia and even internationally. And it was really fun to do. And, it was very hard to do too, because it's a very real and very hard-hitting thing. Yes, I am a thespian. Thank you, Cold Acre. That's me. And I love it. Anyway, so, and here is some flyers from back in the day. Look at this. So this is From Metal to Maternal. This was my One Woman, One Guitar, One Life. It was my theatre production about my life, my existence, how Jade, Starr, just the stuff. And it was a visual, audio, spoken word production that I took around Australia. So you can see here, this is at Higher Ground in Adelaide for 2 shows. And these were the original flyers. This one's back in 2009. We have one here, Mardi Gras 2009, 1 show only here. There were all special shows that happened. There were seasons I did of this. Here's another one. So this was a sit-down show where tickets were $60 and you got dinner or $20 just for the show only. And, you got to see a whole performance. And another show here, this one is Mardi Gras as well. So this one was $12 tickets with no meals and stuff, limited tickets and stuff. And you can see some of the reviews here. Not many musicians have captured the emotional confusion of being transgender brings, but Jade Starr's worn the T-shirt and managed to write it down. Lyrics are beautiful, honest, and bring tears to your eyes. And on top of that, she's a slut. No, it says gorgeous. Sorry. Here's another one from Midsummer Festival down in Melbourne, January 23rd. I can't remember the date of this. At the Artery. Another Midsummer one at the Butterfly Club. So I played a lot of these little vaudeville theatres and stuff. Well, where am I going with this? Where am I going? So, this week, instead of an interview, you are going to get a live performance of the 2009 production of From Metal to Maternal. And I don't know why I have decided to do this. I don't know why. But here's the thing, right? I think it's a really good idea sometimes to just throw yourself in at the deep end and see what you can do, if you can pull it off. And that's what happened yesterday when I performed at the opening hour. I decided to throw this beautiful effect onto a guitar and just let the guitar dominate my songs and let the guitar rewrite my songs and let me work around the songs. Hello, Princess. Always a pleasure. So we're going to try and do this live performance. Now, I had to scratch and claw through to find the scripts for all of this stuff, to find the multimedia and all this stuff, and I have it all. I even how I would learn my theatre lines when I was younger was I would record my voice talking them and put meditation music behind them. And that's what I did. So I found that recording and was able to pull the script. Listen. This was the script.
My earliest recollections of childhood revolve around the desire to dress and be a woman.
Wow. Is that me? From the past.
Like a nice habit.
So amazingly, with the technology that we have these days, I was able to take that recording of all of the script that I'd spoken onto a recording, and it pulled the data and gave me a text file with the entire script. So very exciting to be able to try and pull this off. I don't know how it's going to happen, so hopefully you can all come and join me on Thursday at the usual time, and then instead of an interview, I'm going to perform the theatre production from 2009, and it's going to stop there. It will stop at the way it was written, because since 2009, a lot's changed in my life. But that is going to lead to later this year when I'm rewriting the entire production, and I'm going to try and take it on the road, actually in theatres. And I'm going to take you all with me on this journey as I rewrite this original play from 2009 and then bring it up to the current day. So everything is all tying together. This has a purpose. Everything has a purpose that I try to do here. Oh, look who it is. The tongue boat. Welcome aboard, everyone, to the tongue. There we go. That's probably going to start a whole new thing, the tongue boat. Good God, why? Why does everything happen so stupid on this channel? Mateus, hello to you. Welcome to the tongue boat. All right, shall we get down to today's topic? Let's do so, I think so. So, again, what am I talking about with this title here? Practice makes professional. And yes, they are my real fans. Look how young they are. Oh, God, to be young again. Anyway, what am I talking about? Practice makes professional. Because you've probably heard another saying, yeah, goes, practice makes perfect. Well, I don't like that one. That one can go, that one can go away. Because here's the thing. Perfection don't exist, in my opinion, right? Where else is there to go past perfection? What other challenges are there if everything is perfect? What is the point of merely existing if everything is perfect? It seems like such a concept that is, I don't know, it's a snake eating its own tail. It doesn't make any sense. Once everything's perfect, there's nothing to look forward to, like Princess is looking forward to it, right? I'm glad you clarified it's theatre that you're looking forward to, because I wondered what it was. It is it, apparently, to Faith No More. But no, perfection, people strive for perfection, and it seems like, they don't, maybe we don't understand exactly what perfection is. What is perfection, to start off? Do people know what perfection is? I went and looked it up. I put on my Rhodes Scholar. I went looking for what perfection means. And perfection is the state of being complete and correct in every way. That sounds like an asshole, doesn't it? If I typed asshole into the dictionary, to Cambridge Dictionary, wouldn't the same thing come back as perfection? The state of being complete and correct in every way? Because you can't. It's just impossible. Like, people are going to make mistakes, no matter how much of an expert they are on things. They're not going to be perfect. All right. So, what are the other meanings here? If something is done to perfection, it is done very well. See, now that makes more sense. So it's just something that's done very well. Yeah, or as Perky says here, to the best of your capabilities. Right? It doesn't mean that it's perfect, because if it was perfect, then there would be no other level that anybody else could do this thing or whatever it is. Everybody would just hit a plateau, and that's not reality. Reality just doesn't work like that. Perfection. Where are we? There's more down here. I thought there were more. Yes, absolute perfection. Counsel of perfection. These words are often used, or we don't need those. So perfection just seems like it does extremely well. All right. So it's interesting, isn't it? The fish was cooked extremely well, to perfection. So, yeah, it's a very misleading word, isn't it? And a lot of people have this idea to strive to perfection. And I don't know if they understand what it is. And then they get let down when they get to the point of very well isn't enough. Very good, like if you're the best, even the best is an interesting term too, because like we live on such an enormous planet that the very best in your little micro segment of this world is probably the very worst somewhere else, right? It's a thing. And Audible Video thinks he's clever. So we'll just ignore his comment, won't we? Perpetual Platypussy, hello. So the topic, again, here with all my fans screaming for me, is practice makes professional. Because practice makes perfect, it can't really happen, right? Perfection. Like, how many of you here have played music, played a live performance in a band, and, you say you've done a multitude of gigs? So you've done a multitude of gigs, and you've played a lot of really good gigs, and then all of a sudden, just say you're the singer, and then you get struck down with the flu, and you have to go out and perform that night, and you sound terrible. You sound dog shit. You're so not up to your usual standard. Right? You're far from perfect. Right? And you play the gig, and you finish the show, and you come off stage and go, "Oh man, that was a really bad gig." And everybody in the audience, even the people who come to nearly every one of your shows, comes up and goes, "That was the best gig I've ever heard you play." And you look at them and go, And in your mind, you're going, you've been to so many of my shows. So many. Many, many really good ones. Really good ones. And this one was dog shit. But you come up to me and tell me that you think this was the good one? This was the one that outshone everything? This was the perfect one, the one where I played absolutely crap because I've got the flu? So perfection is in the eye of the beholder. It doesn't really matter, does it? right? How many times have you heard a song and gone, that's a great song. I really like that song. And then you've heard another song and gone, that could be a good song if it was in time. But some people hear things different and say, that was amazing, even though it's utterly out of time. It's completely out of time. You hear and go, Jesus Christ, that is so out of time. Well, who can't hear that? But fucking some people go, that was awesome. That was perfect. Are they lying? I don't know. Are they lying? Who knows? Who knows the motivation of why people say certain things? I don't know. But things aren't always perfect. And hang on, let me scroll up a little bit and find some comments here. I think I've played once in a band. Well, that's good. Hugh Calder says, I'm happy with adequate. Well, let's do that. Let's do that. All right. Adequate. Enough or satisfactory for a particular purpose. Sounds like very good to me. Doesn't it? I mean, the words are interesting things. Enough or satisfactory for a particular purpose. Now in school, right? In school, a long time ago, they changed things to S. It used to be an F and an A and B. And now they have S for satisfactory. And that's enough. Right? So really, is adequate and perfection, they're pretty close to each other, really, you could say that. Barry Glenn says, when I was playing regularly every night, I would say I will make no mistakes this time. Never happened. But I did get better at disguising. Isn't that the truth, huh? I had that in the past at gigs or open mics 10 plus years ago. Yes. Perfection is often tilting windmills, aka meeting others' expectations. Oh, God, go away. Sorry, I've just been arsehole to you. So I've said many times to people, check the piano part there. And they say, what piano? Sometimes it's a matter of taste. Sometimes if they weren't paying attention, sometimes they're lying. Yes, you can't tell what's going through people's minds, yes? And that's fixed. Right. So, practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't, because you're always learning. You're always fucking learning. And if you think, right, if you think that you get to the stage where it's like, I don't need to learn anything anymore, you're wrong, I'm telling you. Because every single day you should be learning something. Every single day I get up onto this planet, I jump out of bed. Well, I don't jump, I kind of crawl out like a worm. But I'm super excited about learning something every single day, even if this is the most mundane, ridiculous, idiotic, needless piece of information that will not help anybody but me. Doesn't matter, because it's something. Because you know what? I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything, because you know what? When you start to know everything, it weighs heavy on you. Trust me. You don't want to know everything, because then other people want to know stuff too, and they come to you. No, but seriously. So practice is important, really, really important. And like, I'm going to ask you guys, like let's have a look at practice. What is, where we go? Let's talk about this first before we get into it. The neurological benefits of practice. Okay. Why do I have to keep practicing? I know it already, says this child. And probably the one reason this child has said this is because they live in a family that is forcing this child to play violin. Listen, if you've got kids, don't force your kids to learn fucking something they don't want to learn. For God's sake, that is the number one way to make children not only not want to learn the thing that you want them to learn, but to absolutely, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, hate you, right? Don't do that. Don't project your inadequacies of things you want to learn onto your children. If they don't want to learn it, don't make them learn it. Listen to what they want to learn. Trust me, 100%. Listen to what your kids say. It's so weird. We live in a world, right, where people go, but they're just children. What would they know? What would they know? They know what you tell them, what you teach them, what you fucking present to them. And if you present to them a fucking really good education and stuff and opportunities to learn things, well, guess what? They learn because they're fucking sponges. They suck everything up and they want to learn things. So when your kids go, but I don't want to learn that. I want to learn this thing. I'd never understand why parents would go, no, you're not learning that. You're learning this thing here. Why the fuck would you fucking cut a child's legs off like that? Like, seriously, when people, there's no point, right? There's no point forcing somebody to learn something that they don't want to learn because they won't learn how to do it. They won't care. They won't have the passion. And if you don't have the passion to learn something, then you will not continue to fucking learn it. And you will never become a professional and you'll never become good at it because you don't want to. You don't care. And there's nothing worse than watching people get pushed into learning things that they don't want to do because it wastes time. And time is more valuable than anything on this planet because we don't know how much of it we have. Breathe, Jade. It really pisses me off. Now, I used to be a singing teacher, right? And I'd get these parents roll up and bring their kids to me. And I love it because I'd always try and gauge how interested the kid is. And the parents would go, hello, this is little Tommy here. Tommy loves singing. He really loves, no, Tommy, he's always singing. And wherever we go, he's singing and singing. And I'm like watching her going, no, he's not. And I look at Tommy and I look at her and she's like, he's always singing. And Tommy's standing there picking his nose. I'm like, Tommy doesn't want it. Tommy wants to play with trucks. I think Tommy wants to be an astronaut. So then I'll turn to Tommy and go, hello, Tommy, do you like singing? And he'll go, shoulder shrug. And I go, this is getting off to a good start, isn't it? And then I look at the mum and she's like, you want to sing and you have no talent, bitch. Now get out. Tell your story walking. Because what's the point? And I would reject so many customers this way because what is the point of taking on somebody who clearly doesn't want to learn this thing? It's not that he's poor Tommy is a terrible little kid. He just doesn't want to do that. And mum is living vicariously through little Tommy because she sucks. Because she has about as much talent as a bag of dookie. Yeah? So you've got to identify because at the same time, I could take their money and I could invest all this time into helping somebody learn something. But if they don't want to, what is the point? I'm just taking money and I'm wasting time that I could be spending on somebody else getting the same amount of money to actually see somebody excited about singing and want to come back. So when I would do my singing lessons, one of the first things I'd do on the first day of lesson was to help the person find their octave, where they're able to sing, the key and octave that suits them. What's their range? Let's see what their range is. And then I would give them a copy of a wonderful song called Georgia on My Mind, which I had many copies of, all in different keys. And I would give them this and they go, I don't know this song. And I go, I don't care if you don't know this song. But this song has every note of the scale in it. And I want you to go home and I want you to sing to this particular song and come back and sing it to me next week. And you could tell which kids weren't going to come back, right? Because I don't want to waste my time with people. Because, again, what's the point of wasting time? You either want this or you don't. Right? And it's so sad to see people waste time learning things or doing things with their life that they are just going to stop doing eventually, and it's just a waste of their time and everybody's time. And the money's not that important. Anyway, I obviously got out of teaching singing because I didn't make a lot of money because there's a lot of fucking idiots out there. Right? A lot of parents living through their children. So I didn't make a lot of money because it was like, no, fuck off. I don't want to teach your child. Because practice makes professional. It does. What do I mean by that? Let's bounce back over here for a second. Oh, shit, we're at the halfway point. Wow, time goes fast. Every day at the halfway point, I need to run an ad. So let's do that. YouTube have my children hostage, and they force me to do, God, what am I saying? To do this halfway through, I'm going to run the ad. You can avoid the ad live by becoming a premium member. You may or may not get an ad. It has been run. Let's come back over here. Why do I have to keep practicing? I know it already. That's the familiar wail of a child seated at the piano in front of a multiplication table, or for what matter, of an adult taking a tennis lesson. Cognitive science and persuasive retort. We don't just need to learn a task in order to perform it well, we need to overlearn it. How many people here practice their craft every day? Who in here sits down with their, be it guitar, drums, skin flute, as in mixed clubs thing? Who sits down and actually practices now? Because we're not spring chickens here on this channel. I mean, there is a young audience here, and I'm sure you guys are out partying and taking drugs or whatever it is you youngsters do on your TikToks and all that shit. But is anyone here actually practicing an hour or two a day? Are you doing it? Blue Unicorn says he is. I don't really consider anything practice. I'm enjoying music. Well, again, what is practice? Because a practice, if we break it down, in like doctors' terms, a practice is what they call a place where doctors practice medicine. So performing the actual thing is practice. I would even argue playing a gig is practice. Yeah? Because you're practicing the art of the thing that you do. Even like, I think people think that maybe just sitting down in a room by yourself, I'm just practicing. But actually playing a gig or actually recording or any of this, actually doing the thing is practice, isn't it? You're practicing the thing. So it's an interesting thing because I don't practice a lot. And I probably should. But there was a time for me where I got into stuff like improvisation. And I guess for me, I get bored with stuff like the straight and narrow, the typical path. I don't like following the same path. I like veering off and doing things that people don't expect. And, lots of artists do this, either, So I got into a lot of improvisational stuff when I was in my mid-20s and 30s, and even to the point that we would hire out warehouses and get a whole bunch of people who we didn't know. We'd put ads in papers for musicians, and we'd get all their phone numbers, collect all these people. And at one point we had like 50 to 60 phone numbers of musicians we'd never met before. And then on a day we'd book a factory space, set it up with a PA, and then just call 30 of these random motherfuckers and get them all to come to this factory, and we'd have a blackboard and we'd write people's names on it, and we just set up a recording thing and just write people's names and go, you play, you play, and we'd just record it. I love doing stuff like that, right? And people would go, but it's just noise what you're doing. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But it does, because there is a form of sense to it, and there is a form of structure, and it doesn't always come out sounding good, right? A lot of it sounds like dog shit, but a lot of it, there were moments that were like, oh, how cool was that? Nobody knows each other. How did we make that thing happen? So I'm a big believer in practice and improvisation, and just throwing yourself out there to do something under pressure. Because if you've practiced enough, if you know that your way around a guitar or the way how your vocal works, you should be able to, at any time, be thrown at the deep end to perform. And if you can't do that, you probably need to practice a lot more, right? Because, and this ties into what happened yesterday here on my channel. Okay, so I was going to go out and record a pre-recorded opening hour, but the weather was shit. When I say shit, it was too hot to go out. And I wasn't feeling up to it. So instead, I sat down here in front of my computer and went, what can I do instead? I know I've got this really cool app. It's a great reverb. Why don't I just throw it on my guitar and then let the reverb dictate the way I perform my songs? I should practice this, really. I should sit down. No, why would I practice this? Why would I practice it? I know these songs. I wrote these songs. And I should do it randomly in front of people and just make it the fuck up. Because I back myself to be able to do that. Because I've practiced my entire life. I've played gigs my entire life. I've recorded everywhere I've traveled around. I should just be able to do that. I don't need to sit here and waste 3 hours practicing something that wouldn't lose the spontaneity of doing it live in front of people and just throwing it out there. So the takeaway of practicing, I think, is to get to a point, and this is just me, you do you, you do me. I'm just talking my experiences always on this rant, is that you can practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And it's a very good thing to do. And it's a very good thing to continue to learn things. And even if you think you know something, go and watch somebody else's take on it and do all those things, because you may pick up something good out of it that you were doing a little bit different, or you may see something that's not as good as the way you do it, right? So continuing to practice and learn things is really good, I think. But also, you should back yourself to trust yourself to do something on the edge and risk without practicing it, right? And without swatting over it and just seeing how it goes. Because it's a really good test to test how good you are. Can you just pull something out and make it sound really, really good and take people on a journey with you? Because you can be Yngwie Malmsteen, right? And do all the scales and be a complete tosser, right? I don't know if you've ever seen Yngwie, a guitar clinic with Yngwie. It's like jerking off into your own mouth, right? You may think it's a good idea when you're horny, but as soon as you come, you go, what have I done? Don't go to an Yngwie Malmsteen guitar clinic, right? Just don't do it. What is going on? Why did I say that? So, but improvisation is something that I think a lot of people should delve into and, and take risks. This is the one thing I always say here on this channel about music. Music is a very not undangerous thing these days, right? Music used to be dangerous. People used to walk on the edge, right? Michael Jackson used to wear one glove. Boy George, think about the 80s, how many artists were utterly dangerous, right? And just did these things that you were like, whoa, why is this popular? Because people thought outside the box and they didn't give a shit what people thought. They just were, and they tried different things. And these days, everything's so homogenized and it's lost all of its danger. It's so formulaic now that it's almost like people are so scared to, be unique. Instead, it's just same mold, move it along. And there's always been music like that throughout the dawn of time, that music that is to a particular mold. There's always been that type of music. But there seemed like, maybe it's just rose-colored glasses for me, that 30 years ago, people were more dangerous. Kurt Cobain, people were just, they pushed limits. They pushed people. Kind of like comedians, yeah? I'm not going to go into why it's got like that because I don't know, right? I don't know. So let's get back onto the point here of practice makes professional. Because what is a professional? What is a professional? This is something that you hear all the time. People say a professional is somebody who makes money from what they do. Do you think that's true? Do you think that's... I don't think that's true because, right, here's the deal. If you're a musician, like I was until this show, it's all over from now. No, when I was a kid and we released our first demo when I was 15 years old, we sold demos. We actually sold them, right? And I knew nothing. So does that mean I was a professional then? Because most people say that, yeah, as soon as you're a performing artist that's making money, then you're a professional. Really? I don't know. Because it's so easy to sell a sticker. Even as a band, you sell a sticker, then you're a professional in some people's opinions. Yeah, see, I think that too. But on the other side of that, I think the term being cancelled, Pookie, is not a real thing because nobody actually really does get cancelled. Even some of the most despicable people on YouTube and stuff who've done, really terrible things to like stuff I can't say, YouTubers and stuff, they still end up coming back, right? So this notion of like, I've been cancelled, nobody actually gets cancelled. The way our brains are working these days, because we're like goldfish as a species these days, it seems like we just forget in 6 months anyway and go, whatever, I don't care that person... Oops. What's happening here? I've got the wrong setting. I don't care that person... And they just let them back on YouTube because people just forget about it. But what they did was despicable. So cancelled doesn't compute. It's just a bullshit term that people throw around because they're victims. Because everybody wants to be a fucking victim these days. Anyway, that's probably what we're going to talk about next week on the show on the Rant. Are you a victim? Anyway, I got off point here. So professional. Let's see what it says here in the good old Cambridge Dictionary. Yes? Relating to work that needs special training or education. Having the qualities that connect with trained or skilled people, such as effectiveness, skill, organization, seriousness of manner, used to describe somebody who does a job that people usually do as a hobby. Having the type of job that is respected because it involves a high level of education or training. So here we go. Professional. A person who has the type of job that needs a high level of education or training. So with us practicing every day, isn't that a high level of education or training? And just practicing my guitar, even though I'm not like going to a professional person to learn these things, even though Yngwie Malmsteen isn't like jerking off all over my fretboard. What, So is it really about making money or is it actually about just practicing? That somebody who's just practiced a lot. Professional. Because it can't be, you can't just label it quickly and go, but if you're making money from your music, no, because I can sell a sticker and I've made money. So there's that. Someone who has worked hard at the same type of job for a long time and has become skilled at dealing with any problem that I have, isn't that like being a musician and like what gets thrown at you? Isn't that like practicing in your bedroom? Right? So, of course, there's different kind of professionals, and I can't apply this to like being a brain surgeon, but we're talking about music and creativity and stuff here. So don't get it confused. I'm not saying, hey, little Timmy, sorry, I didn't teach you how to sing, but instead, I think you should become a brain surgeon. So when Nana's asleep next time, pour a bottle of alcohol on her head and cut her head off. And see what's inside. Don't do that, Timmy. That won't help you become a professional. But of course, there's different levels of professional. But in this instance, see, as the thumbnail shows, rock and roll, being a musician, right? So that's what we're talking about today. So don't take me out of context and go, you know what I'm saying? You can't like apply this to, obviously you can't apply this to everything. We're talking about music. So just to clarify that. So, but this is, this is not medical advice YouTube. But the Yngwie Malmsteen stuff was serious advice. Don't go and see that guy. He's weird. So why do I say it? All right, getting to the main crux of this is that practice makes professional, right? Like anything, especially we're talking about music. So practicing, going to school, learning this is practice. Theory, for all that people say it's worth, is theory. You can read stuff and go, that's nice. That's in my head, right? That's in my head. But is it how is theory going to help you when you're on stage and things go wrong? You break a string. What are you going to do? Oh, well, I had that theory about guitars. No. Because practice is the thing. You have to, it's like in science. Well, we all had science when we were young, yeah? So you would read the theory of the experiment you were going to do, and then you would practice it with a beaker and Bunsen burner and explode things and set the science lab on fire. I'm sorry, Mr. Falzon, it was me. I did it. I just wanted to see if Jennifer's hair would catch on fire, and it did. I'm so sorry, Mr. Falzon. Memories. But no, honestly, practice is the thing. You can learn all this shit, but if you don't put it into practice, then what's the point? No, you have to practice these things. You have to try them. You have to do them. Doing words, right? It's very important to do these things. And playing gigs is practice. Is it practicing your art? So I guess that definition, I'm a professional. Music is the only source of money, but not a lot of some. It's not really a pastime. Yeah. Like, if you've made any sort of money, then you can defeat that breakdown of it. But I think a professional musician, in my opinion, is somebody who has practiced enough that they can change. Like, what's more important about being a professional musician and having practiced is being able to change direction on a whim and being able to fit it, just mold yourself into a situation, being able to improvise. Or for example, right, going back to that, what we talked about earlier, when you have to do a performance, your voice is fucked as a singer, you get up and sing, people come and go, that was the best gig ever. And you're like, oh, it was horrible. It's not that it was horrible, right? I'm speaking from my perspective here. It's not that the gig actually really was horrible. It just wasn't up to my perfection, my expectations. But I'll tell you why a lot of people would say that was still a really good gig. Because of the practice that I've had and the actual partaking in performing music for so long. As a singer, if you're not doing this naturally, if you're not turning around and going, okay, my voice isn't good for this gig, I'm just going to sing these particular bits an octave lower. Like, you have to think on your feet. You're not going to go out there if you've got the flu and you have to do this gig and you get up to a bit where you can't hit that note and just try and sing it anyway, because you're not going to be able to do it. So it's thinking on your feet. It's being professional and understanding improvisation and being able to go with the flow because things aren't perfect and ebbs and flows and things come and go. And as Russ has said here, is exactly how I want to end this show. If you can't do this as an artist, if you're not a blagger, you're fucked. All right. What is blagging? Does anyone know what blagging is? Hey, hippie, what's going on? Who else have I missed who's here in the chat? Forest of the Wolf, hello. Semtex, g'day. I want to end on blagging because it's an interesting thing. Most British people, I think, will get what blagging is. Greg O'Sullivan, g'day. Robert Redmond's clip channel. Chip channel, what the fuck is going on with my vision? Seagull, hello to you. And if I have missed you in the chat, I do apologise because it's the rant. Blagging. Let's have a look what blagging. What is the meaning of blagging? The action of obtaining something or by using persuasion or guile. Most people are comfortable with some level of blagging. The action of obtaining private or confidential. That's weird. I don't want to do that. Blagging. Hey, Chris. The blag. Robbery. Especially. No. We want blagging. Here we go. Examples. These are just examples. This is a terrible site for this. I should have looked this up first before I did this search here. We'll go with Cambridge again. The act of the blag. To persuade someone in a clever or slightly dishonest way. It's not really dishonest. To allow you to do something or give you something. Now, you can take it as that, but as a professional artist, right, you have to have some kind of blag or swagger or some kind of belief in yourself, right, to be able to pull things off, to be able to you know, get your way through it, blag your way through it. It's it's an art. It definitely is an art. You're not gonna ever go to try and get a gig somewhere and say to this promoter, "Hello, I want a gig with you." All right, how many people have you got at your gigs? And you're not going to go, "Oh, our last gig we had 3." No, you're going to add a little sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to blag your way through it and go, actually, we normally average around 50 to 100 people. But when you do that, right, you got to then work your ass off and practice getting those people there for when they book you. Because if you don't do it, you won't get another gig at that place. But it is all a part of, it's bullshitting your way through. There we go. You need to have a little touch of bullshit, right? Or as they say here in Australia, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. These are things you have to do to be a professional. Look at it. How many people, right, when they go for a rental or go to rent an apartment, how many people get their friend to be their reference? I'm not saying I did it, but come on. It's a real thing. Hey, when this rental agency calls, can you pretend to be my boss? You know what I'm saying? There has to be some kind of bullshit blag swag about your or you'll never get on top of people, right? But here's the other thing. You've got to have the practice to back it up. You've got to be able to get out there and then get on stage and then do the thing to make people book you again. You can do as much blag as you want, but if you don't perform, if you're not practiced enough, if you're not learned enough, then it's not going to suck. You're not going to come off as professional, right? Because you can't be perfect. Anyway, I've just been sitting here for an hour. I just wanted to spit shit because this all ties into this week's performance I'm going to do. I'm going to remind you all one more time before we get out of it because some of you haven't been here, right? On YouTube, it's called Vlagging. Nice. Nice. So this week coming up on the show, my friends, is something I'm going to blag my way through because I haven't done this thing for ages. So if you're late to the show, back in 2009, I did a theatre production called From Metal to Maternal, and I toured this all around Australia and even in the UK. And it was a one-person show, a theatre production about my life. And it did really well. I got a lot of good reviews and, it was, I ran seasons of this stuff. It was very hard to do because it's very confronting. These are some of the flyers from the show, right, from all around Australia. And this week, instead of doing an interview, I'm going to try and recreate the entire theatre production here on this channel. So hopefully you can come and join me for that, because I'm going to be blagging my way through it. Who knows what could happen? The show was incredibly improvisational as well, and things went wrong and things went good. So it's going to be a test of how much I can pull something out of my ass to make it look good and entertaining for you. How much can I put my practice into professionalism? So there's that. That is what's happening. And that's why I'm talking about this week, because I think it's something we all should practice. Yeah, practice to be for the unexpected. Don't just practice to be your best or like perfect. Practice for things that you don't know what could happen, you know, and to improvise and be able to just on a whim change and slot in. All right, got to get out of here because Pete Johns is up next. We've got a featured artist, one of my favourite artists. It is Just Naya. Now she has just dropped a little live clip this week, and I think it's really beautiful. I love when Naya drops songs because she is one of the strongest. Hang on, I'm not going to say strong because strong is a tough word to live up to. She's very courageous and very honest and raw, and she's very talented. That's the most important thing. And she puts into practice a lot of very unique things to create. And that's what makes her, in my opinion, a pro. So this is a song she popped out last week called If I Cry. And yeah, let's play it. Let's get out of here. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Tomorrow, fantastic app. Make sure you come and join us. Pete's up next. Let's do it. This is Naya. She's just amazing. Thanks for being here, guys. Love you lots. Boom.
Tonight I cry for every single soul that has been broken down, but I had to stand tall. Tonight I cry for everyone who has felt all alone under the sun. I cry for all of those who needed to cry, but had to get back on their feet and just try. I cry for every single night when the fear has crawled under your blanket, but no one could hear. No one could hear any of your silent screams, and no one could tell the fights you fought in your dreams. So I cry, I will just cry. I will cry and try to set us all free. I can try to see what this world could be if we let the pain touch our soul. Do we all get to be whole if I cry? If I just cry? I wanna dive so deep into this pain until love's the only thing to remain. I've had enough of running away and closing my eyes and other games that we play. It's time that I embrace it all. It doesn't matter that the world is big and I'm small. I will cry, I will just cry. I will cry and try to set us all free. I can try to see what this world could be if we let the pain touch our soul. Do we all get to be whole if I cry? If I just cry?